We'd like to let you know that we have prepared a virtual background for you to use during the session, which you can access via the link in the chat box. Also, for attendance purposes, we encourage everyone to use your full name as your screen name. Thank you. Again, attention to all participants of the CodeX Workshop Series 2022 Session 1 will begin in 5 minutes. We just want to remind you that this session is being recorded. Also, we'd like to let you know that we have prepared a virtual background for you to use during the session, which you can access via the link in the chat box. Also, for attendance purposes, we would like to encourage everyone to use their full name as their screen name. Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our event entitled CodeX Workshop Series 2022 Session 1, held by Malayan Colleges Laguna ACM Student Chapter. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are pleased to welcome you all. I am Leila Arabella Diaz, and I will be your host for today's event. I'm sure that I'm not the only one looking forward to getting a deep dive into competitive programming. But before we get started, I'd like to mention some event guidelines. The session will be recorded and uploaded on our YouTube channel, and screenshots will be taken for both social media and documentation purposes. Be at your best behavior by avoiding profanity or unnecessary conversation in the chat box. Lastly is, please make sure your microphones are muted and only unmute if you would like to speak during our Q&A segment. Now, I would like to call on Mr. Mark Magaling, a member of the MCL ACM Student Chapter, to lead the invocation. You may now proceed, Mr. Mark.
Everyone, please let us bow our heads. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings that you have given us, for giving us strength to be able to attend this workshop. Thank you for gathering us here to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another. Please give us wisdom to make this workshop a success. To our speakers so that they would share their knowledge to us. To the attendees so they can listen attentively, and to the facilitators who will be managing this workshop. That is all we ask. Thank you for your eternal love.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. To formally begin this afternoon's workshop, may we give the virtual floor to the advisor of the Malayan Colleges Laguna ACM Student Chapter and Dean of the College of Computer and Information Science, Mr. Christian G. Kikuchi.
Hi, good afternoon. You can hear me clearly?
Yes, po.
Okay. So to our participants to this afternoon session, uh, welcome to our workshop of our MCL ACM Student Chapters. No? So let me begin by thanking everyone for dedicating our Saturday with us today. And I am happy to know that still a lot of senior high school students are interested to learn and improve their programming skills. So I think this is a good number of attendees that we have since we conceptualize and deliver this kind of activity, whether during the pre-pandemic or even during this pandemic period. So kudos to the organizers of this year's workshop. So without further ado, I hope everyone will learn new skills and tricks during this workshop. Again, congratulations, MCL ACM, and good luck to all our participants. God bless and stay safe.
Thank you, Sir Ian, for those wonderful remarks. Okay, next slide. Now, before we go straight into today's session, we would like to see a show of hands from everyone in the room. When I call out your grade and strand, I encourage you to use the raise hand option on Zoom to digitally raise your hands. So, may I see who among our participants are grade 11 ICT students? You may now raise your hands. Okay, thank you. You may now lower your hands. So, how about the grade 11 STEM students? You may now raise your hand. Okay, so what about the grade 12 ICT students here? Where are you guys? Okay, thank you. You may now lower your hands. Okay. So last but not the least, where are the grade 12 STEM students? Okay. So I would like to know if we have participants with programs other than I have mentioned. May iba bang program or stand na umattend dito? Okay, thank you so much for participating. Next slide, please. As we move on to the main agenda of this workshop, I'd like to introduce Mr. Job Lipat, our research and development mentor, to further discuss the CodeX workshop in more detail. You may now start presenting, Mr. Job.
All right, let me share my screen. Wala. There you go. I hope kita nyo na yung screen ko. And I hope you guys don't mind, I don't know, I'll code switch that. So pero if you, sabihin nyo lang if you don't understand yung kung nag-code switch ako. Pero anyway, start na tayo sa afternoon session natin for this CodeX workshop, which will be about more on programming competitions na siya. Kanina kasi we discussed more on Java syntax. So, yep. And before we start, just a couple of things. Make sure, di ba kanina we used HackerRank, make sure meron na kayo account for HackerRank. So, pasend na lang ng link, yung registration link for that. Tapos, we also sent a Java stacks guide kanina. So, just download that para makafollow kayo if di pa kayo super comfortable using Java. So, I think sinad namin siya kanina, sasend lang namin ulit. Then third, of course, since meron muna tayo lecture, kasi 2 parts to. Meron tayo lecture, we have a lecture, then the second part, meron tayo short break, tapos after ng short break, meron tayo activity. So medyo matagal siya, so make yourself comfortable. No? Kung yun yung snacks nyo, yung drinks nyo, and stuff like that, para makafocus kayo sa lecture natin today. So, yep, just a couple of housekeeping na lang before we start. So yeah, I guess start na tayo sa pinaka-thing natin, which is about programming competitions. I guess before we talk about how we win programming competitions, diba? We should first ask, ano ba yung programming competitions, diba? programming competitions are basically an event where programmers solve a series of programming problems. Like yung kanina, diba, nag-solve kayo sa HackRank. Medyo similar siya sa setup na ganun, pero the problems are usually harder, tapos may time limit siya. Tapos, pati in teams siya, usually. And yung team na nakasolve ng most problems in the specified amount of time will be the winner. And if familiar kayo sa math Olympiads, I think mayroon pa rin ganun right now. Very similar siya doon, yung programming competitions. And there are a variety of programming competitions in the Philippines and internationally. So sa Philippines, meron tayong CodeX, meron tayo yung NOI PH, meron din tayo yung mga regional ICPCs natin. Tapos internationally, meron tayo, of course, yung the World ICPC, meron tayong Google, I forgot what it's called, pero may Google. Tapos recently, meron din Shopee Code League. So yun yung the various programming competitions. And people join these programming competitions for 3 reasons. No? First, because it's an opportunity to improve their programming and problem-solving skills. No? Kasi it's important for us as kung maging profession natin yung programming, yung programming, di ba? Yung problem-solving, we could apply it kung saan man tayo mapunta. Basta programmer tayo. Kung developer ka man, kung researcher ka, IT specialist ka, programming and problem solving is a vital part of your duties. Ganun. Second, because may prize money siya. Programming competitions nagre-range yung prizes niya, pero yes, may siya prize money. And lastly, because it's fun, no? It's a challenge para sa for those joining it. And you could have fun with friends, make new connections, di ba? Kung meron kayong kasama. And you can even find new opportunities such as employment, ganon. Since nagkakaroon kayo new connections. And ngayon, you might be asking, okay, that's very interesting, yung programming competitions. Ngayon, how do I win them, no? And the key in winning programming competitions is your problem-solving skills, no? If you improve your problem-solving skills, well, for sure, mananalo ka sa programming competitions. Kasi yun yung key. And in the next sections, we will be discussing how we will be discussing problem solving and how you can improve problem solving. No? So I think goals natin by the end of the session. I hope malaman niyo basics of problem solving, ma-apply niyo yung basic steps in programming problems. Kasi problem solving is general. Tapos we could apply it in programming problems. And by the end of this, hopefully, maging interested kayo, tapos you have enough knowledge to explore further kung paano ba mas gumaling sa solving programming problems. So, start na tayo sa parang pinaka-main, start na tayo sa introduction and start na tayo sa pinaka-main lecture natin, which is about problem solving. So first, let's talk about the steps in problem solving. Meron akong mnemonic dito, it's upper. Madali kasi siya remember, diba, upper. How do you solve a problem? By an uppercut. Ganun. Yun yung inisip ko, it's kind of weird, pero yeah, upper yung mnemonic ko doon. So what does upper mean? So U means understand the problem. P means devise a plan. E means execute the plan. And R means reflect and look back. Madali lang siya remember. Upper, understand, plan, execute, reflect. Ganun lang siya. And in today's session, we will be discussing these steps one by one. So kumbaga ito yung magiging parang foundation natin in solving programming problems. And we will be discussing these. And of course, we will be discussing how we can apply these, how we can apply these in the context of solving programming problems. Kasi kasi parang yung upper, it's applied generally siya, not only in programming competitions. Pero we'll talk about how we could apply it in programming competitions. So right, let's start with the first one, which is understanding the problem. And in understanding the problem, meron tayong 3 things that we should do. But dapat malaman muna natin yung parts. We should know what it is saying, and we should know what type of problem it is. No? And so isa-isahin natin to. First, again, siguro balik tayo. Ito lahat ng parts, isa-isahin natin yan. So first, what are its parts? No? In programming competitions, ito usually yung parts ng problem. Ito yung problem. Don't worry, kung medyo madami ito, I'll show you guys yung parang pinaka-hacker rank interface. I-relate natin siya doon. Pero ito siya usually. Ito yung problem list, problem statement, input constraints, input format, output format, time limit, memory limit. Ang dami, no? Sample test cases, hidden test cases. So para ma-understand natin to better, let's take a look at HackerRank mismo para ma-apply natin siya in real life. So I hope kung mag-altab ako, you guys could still see yung ano ko, browser ko. So kita naman, no? If hindi, just send a message. I'll fix it. No? Give me a second. Ito yung activity natin kanina. Let's enter a new one na mas like programming competitions. So ito yung interface ng HackerRank when it comes to sa problems. So kita nyo dito, this is the problem list. So nandito lahat ng problems and makita nyo yung title dito. And it might seem na simple lang siya. Pero be careful when choosing a problem kasi in some competitions di sinasabi yung difficulty diba? Tapos so be careful kasi dapat unahin nyo lagi yung pinaka-easiest problem. So basahin nyo muna each one, no? Just skim over them tapos try nyo piliin yung the simplest one you think. So in this case naman sorted siya easy to hardest. So I guess I'll just start with this one with even or odd. Let's not do that. Let's do at a fallback kasi mas madali yan. But anyway, and kung tinitignan nyo rin yung problem title, that will give hints na kung ano ba yung problem, no? So that will give you that information kung madali ba siya or not, or parang ganun. So keep a lookout din sa titles and sa difficulties ng problems. Pero in this case, let's take a look at this one. So this problem is called fallback. And ito yung title niya. We have, you don't need to read it right now. Tinitignan lang natin yung structure. So ito yung structure niya. We have the problem statement here. So ito yung parang pinaka-meat ng problem. It's stating what the problem is. So that's the problem statement. Next, until dito pa siya. Next, we have the input format, constraints, and output format. So sinasabi na to, kung yung system, if the system is going to input something, how is it going to input that? No? So in this case, integers yung input niya. It's going to input one line containing n integers. So yun yung input ng system natin. Constraints tell us what ano ba yung possible values na input format natin. So in this case, it's only 1 to 50. And sa output format naman, so this one tells us kung paano ba natin i-output yung answer natin. So for example, I guess this leads us sa sample test case natin, sample input and output. So for example, ito yung input format, diba? So ganito yung magiging magiging format niya. Tapos ganito din magiging output format niya. So this one is based on So this one is based on this one. Tapos this one is based sa other one. Right? So yun yung format natin, yung input format, constraints, output format. So they describe the inputs and outputs. Sa sample input and output naman, think of it this way. Kapag in-input ko to, kapag ito yung input ko sa program mo, ito dapat maging output natin. So kung ito, dapat ipoprogram natin, we should create a solution, tapos that solution should look like this. Yung output ng solution nun, it should look like this. So that's basically yung sample test case natin. Then in this case, meron dalawang sample test cases. Kaya there are 4 of them. And siguro since Java natin, it's HackerRank din. Yung maganda sa HackerRank, it provides a place for you to directly code yung solution mo. So ito siya, it's a place where you could code. Next naman, meron tayong run code dito. So this, kung pinress mo to, yung code mo nito, i-run niya siya dito sa sample output, sample input 0 and sample input 1. Parang ganun siya. So ayun yung parang test cases nito. Next naman, kapag sinubmit natin, ito na yung last part. So kapag sinubmit na natin siya, yung solution natin, it'll be tested on hidden test cases. So yung mga mga test cases natin, you won't be able to see them, no? Kasi para ma-make sure na tama talaga yung solution mo. Kasi kung binigay na ito lahat, parang hindi na siya problem, no? If else nyo na lang yung inputs. Pero yeah, ganito yung parang setup na parang programming competitions. And of course, para ma-solve yung problem nito, lahat ng hidden test cases nito should be a check. So kung may isang check dito, that means you did not solve the problem. 0 points. I mean, usually ganun siya, 0 points na makukuha mo. So to solve the problem, dapat check to lahat. So yun yung basic parts of the problem. So again, let's recap yung parts ng problem. We first have the problem the title. We have the problem statement, which is the main meat of the problem. Meron tayong input format, constraints, and output format, which describe kung ano ba yung input and output natin. Sample inputs, sample test cases. So sinasabi na to, kung ito input ko, dapat ganito output ko. And then we have hidden test cases after we submit. And para ma-considered solve yung problem nito, dapat lahat check ito. So ayun basically yung parts ng problem. Yun yung parang basic parts of the problem. I hope na-gets nyo. Kung may questions kayo, feel free to send it sa chat natin. So all right, balik na tayo sa slides natin. So tapos na tayo dito, what are its parts? Next, we should know what it is saying. So aside from knowing the parts, we should know what the problem is saying. Kasi parang sometimes hindi clear yung sinasabi ng problem. So what we should do is we should find the nature of the problem. Kasi yung sa programming competitions kasi, hindi nila sasabihin, they won't really instruct you kung ano yung code mo. They'll have this problem, tapos parang naka-embed doon yung problem, hidden siya. So siguro para ma-appreciate nyo siya, let's take a look at this problem now. I hope nare-read nyo siya. Maybe, no, I couldn't. Hindi siya pwede i-zoom. Okay, anyway. I hope nare-read nyo siya. So try to read this problem muna, skim nyo muna. I don't have to solve it yet, just read it. Try nyo understand kung ano ba talaga yung nature ng problem nito. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to do that. Medyo mahaba, pero yes. So yeah, just skim over it. Try nyo hanapin yung problem talaga. Mahaba, no? Okay, I hope patapos na kayo mag-read. So, all right. All right, siguro that's enough time na to read the problem. Pero basically what the problem is saying is may si Commodus daw, which is a Roman emperor, kung ano daw ginagawa niya tapos meron daw siya stone tablets tapos may sinusulat siya dong names. Tapos we have to decode that. Parang ganun. And kung pansinin niyo, actually, di ba ang haba ng problem? Actually, kung babasahin niyo siya maayos, I mean, if you take a closer look at it, ito lang yung may meaning sa problem. Itong part lang. The rest, wala itong meaning. Parang ito lang yung nagbibigay ng meaning sa problem. Ito yung parang pinaka problem, yung naka-square dito. The rest nito, it's just adding padding to the problem. So look out, kung magsasolve kayo ng problems, make sure na hindi kayo ma-tunnel vision sa mga parts nito. Try nyo hanapin yung pinaka problem talaga. Right. Pero be sure din to take a look at this kasi it might contain some information then. Pero yeah, find parts of the problem that contributes to the actual problem. So unlike in the rest nito, diba? They don't really say anything. They're just there to pad the I guess ito yung hint din siya. Pero the rest wala siya. Kasi it just adds padding. And yung technique ko usually dito, siniskim ko na yung problem, skim muna. Tapos while skimming, hanapin ko yung parts that I think contributes to the problem. Tapos, yeah, ayun. Focus ako sa parts that I think contributes to the problem. Tapos, another tip, usually nasa end siya ng problem. So, try nyo check yung end of problem. Usually nandun yung pinaka-meat ng problem, pinaka-problem. So, yeah, yun yung tips ko. So, alright, I hope na gets nyo yung point ko doon. Let's now check another problem. I mean, let's try to, ito. Kung paano ba natin malalaman what it's trying to say. Another way to understand what the problem is trying to say is to visualize the problem. No? So kasi it's much easier to understand the problem kung nakikita niyo siya. So may tayong visualization tools such as Jamboard or Paint, kahit Paint lang, that'll be good enough. No? Basta you can visualize your problem. And kahit pen and paper lang, that's actually one of the best ways to visualize the problem. So ayan, visualize the problem. Let's take a look at another problem dito para ma-appreciate natin. So I'll give you guys this one's a bit shorter, pero I'll give you guys a couple of seconds again to read the problem. It's saying something about dice. It's sabi raw may casino, meron daw opposite side, tapos hindi raw clear. Diba? Does that clear everything? Yun yung last one. So now let us do the real thing. Yun yung parang sinasabi dito. So alright, I hope nabasa nyo na yung problem. I'll summarize it. So basically sinasabi dito, meron daw like dice, tapos you have to get the opposite side of it. Parang ganun yung sinasabi dito. Tapos parang may other fluff dito. Like other unnecessary parts dito that tries to confuse you. Yun yung basically summary dito. So para, kunyari, nabasa ko na to, right? So ano ba yung sinasabi na ito? Meron daw dice. So, kayo pa okay lang, let's i-draw ko siya dito sa slides natin. Pero let's try to visualize it. Paano ba, let's try to flatten a dice muna. So, sinabi daw, ito yung flat na dice, right? So, sinabi daw kung 1, 6 daw. So, kapag may 1 yung isang side, the opposite side, di ba kung finold mo to a dice talaga, the other side will become a 6. Right? So, I think from this, magigets ko na yung parang problem dito. So, kung magiging 2 to, probably magiging 5 to, right? Kung, let's say 3 at to, this will become a 4, right? So, dahil visualize ko yung problem, kasi parang opposites siya, right? Mas nagigets ko yung parang, sinasabi ng problem mismo. So, from this, pwede na ako gumawa ng solution. And, kasi parang nahalata ko na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, tama 4, 3, 2, 1. So since na understand ko na yung problem by visualizing it, pwede na ako gumawa ng solution for this. So yeah, that's another technique to understand the problem. Try to visualize it before before gumawa kayo ng solution, kasi it'll be really helpful. So yun. That's how you visualize a problem. So, all right, I guess let's proceed. I hope that's yun. So you understood the parts ng problem, you understood what it's trying to say. And next, ano bang type of problem yung sinasolve natin? And usually it's usually connected siya sa solution niya. So let's discuss to siguro sa planning stage. It's a bit overlapping kasi sa plan stage. Kaya let's discuss it in that part na lang. Pero yeah, more details doon. Kasi yun yung next din natin. So P, planning. So tapos na tayo sa upper, tapos na tayo sa U. Next naman is P for plan. So, all right. So, kung magpa-plan kayo ng solution, what will you, ano ba dapat i-consider mo? So, first, what type of solution do you need? And second, how efficient should your solution be? So, let's take a look at kung paano natin gagawin each one ito. Ano mong solution, what type of solution do you need? And unfortunately, let's take a look at what type of solution you need. Unfortunately, there are a lot of different types of problems. Pero I don't think, kita niya medyo madami. We don't have time to discuss each one today kasi there are some nuances into it. Pero be aware lang na the more you solve problems, kasi it's an experience thing. The more you solve problems, parang mapapansin mo, parang ito yung problem na solve ko dati. Parang ganun yung ma-realize nyo. And yes, tama na may parang groupings of problems. May implementation problems, may greedy, may two-pointer, may number theory, may permutation combinations, data structures, and dynamic programming. So, yes, yung type of problem, para malaman nyo which type of problem yung problem na to, you should have, parang it's an experience thing. Dapat, magkaroon kayo experience in programming, the more you solve, the more types of problems na mapapansin mo. And of course, masasolve nyo siya easier kung the more problems you solve. And yun yung value of practice, diba? Of repeatedly trying to solve different problems. So yeah, I won't detail this lang kasi this needs, kung di-discuss ko man ito, this needs another session. Pero we don't have time. Kaya let's go to the next one now, which is we're gonna try to parang kano ka-efficient ba yung solution natin. And in that, may tayong two things actually. Don't worry, this one's a very big topic actually, pero let's stick to the basics ng time efficiency and space efficiency. So let's discuss time efficiency and space efficiency in brief. So first, let's discuss time efficiency muna. Ito yung kailangan nyo i-consider kapag consider nyo efficiency ng solution nyo. So first is time efficiency. What it's basically trying to say is, kano kabilis ba yung program mo? How fast can it execute your code, diba? And the faster your program is, the better siya. And the computer science notation to measure time efficiency is called the big O notation. So para ma-understand nyo, let's one real world scenario, one real world analogy is when you try to find the word in a dictionary. Kasi diba in a dictionary, diba? There are two ways you could find the word in a dictionary, diba? You could either isa-isa yung main page until you find the word, or kunyari may dictionary ka, you open the middle, kunyari hinanap mo is in F, diba? Tapos nasa J ka. So of course, since nasa J siya, you have to get the first part, tapos no ka maghahanap, right? Tapos we repeatedly do that until mahanap natin yung word. So that's called a divide and conquer approach in that's called a divide and conquer algorithm, and it's a lot faster than searching page by page sa isang dictionary. So don't worry kung hindi niyo siya na-understand, pero yeah, that's one that's one analogy in real life of time efficiency. So okay, analogy in real life. Let's try to think of this in terms of our programs naman. So time efficiency, paano ba natin siya malalaman? So para ma-appreciate niyo siguro yung time efficiency, try niyo i-solve yung problem nito. So this is called the two-sum problem. Meron kayong array and the value x, and you have to find if there are two numbers in the array whose sum matches x. And ito explain ko, parang hindi nyo na kailangan i-understand. So kunyari meron tayong 9. Ano ba yung values dito that will add to 9? So of course, 2 plus 7, that's 9, right? So and kunyari ano to, let's say we have 13. So kung x is equals to 13, ano ba yung two values sa arrays na to that will add to 13? So of course, that's 2 and 11, right? So yun yung problem natin, the two-sum problem. I'd like you guys to think of a solution. No need to code it yet. Isipin nyo muna kung ano yung magiging solution nyo. Tapos, yes, isipin nyo muna, tapos I'll show you guys ano ba yung different approaches na pwede nyo gawin dito. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds muna, think of it, basahin yung problem, tapos try nyo mag-isip ng solution. Try nyo rin i-visualize yung solution nyo. So may array ka and x, two values, find two values sa array that will add up to x. Kung 9, kung the array is 2, 7, 11, 15, x is 9. The output is 2 and 7, so 2 plus 7 is 9. So all right, siguro that's enough time to think of a solution. So I want, siguro let's talk about muna, let's take a look at the different solutions muna. Tapos, let's take a look at its efficiency muna before we discuss kung ano ba yung actual solution niya. Kung paano niya na-achieve yung efficiency nun. So first, ito muna, I want you to look at yung for loops muna dito. The way para malaman natin kung efficient ba or not yung solution natin is the number of nested. I mean, oversimplifying to pero the one common way para malaman natin kung gaano ka-efficient yung solution natin is we take a look at the number of nested for loops. So, for example, dito, we have one nested for, meron tayong for loop dito, and nag-nest tayo ng isang for loop dito. So, it's nested, di ba? So, each time mag-execute ito, mag-execute din to, right? Which will execute this part n times. And this part will execute n times. Kaya, n times n, that will be n squared, right? N squared times siya mag-execute. And, I mean, oversimplifying it, yun yung neto. So we know now now parang medyo inefficient siya kasi may nested for loop siya. Tapos, ayan, kita nyo nested for loop siya. And in computer science term, this algorithm is n squared. Dito naman, we see na isa lang yung for loop. Diba? So that means, ilang times to mag-execute. So of course, mag-execute lang to n times. Kasi the input natin is n, right? So this means, ano ba yung meaning na to? Let's take a look at this one then. So this will execute n squared times. Well, this one will execute n times. So para sa computer, of course, this solution will be faster, di ba? Kasi n times lang siya mag-execute. Kunyari 5 times lang to. Ito, kung 5 times lang ito, this will execute 25 times, di ba? Which is much slower than this solution natin. So ayun siguro just to understand, para ma-understand nyo ngayon, what you have to understand lang is the number of nested for loops that usually correlates to the efficiency ng program. So that's a way to oversimplify it. No? Kaya kung gagawa kayo ng solution, try to lessen your nested for loops as much as possible. And ayun. So siguro discuss ko yung solution nito. So the first solution is let's take a look. Let's say meron tayo 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, brute force niya lang. Check niya lahat ng pairs. So 1, 2, does that add up to x? 1, 3, does that add up to x? 1, 4, does that add up to x? Tapos 2, 3, does that add up to, parang brute force niya lang. Yun yung ginagawa ng solution 1. Sa solution 2 naman, gumamit siya ng data structure called sets. So, a set kasi, pwede ka check. Kunyari, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ito yung set, right? Tapos meron tayo array dito, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say meron tayo 5. Wag 5. Sabihin natin meron tayo 3. Sa set, pwede mo siya check directly kung nasa set ba siya or not. Sa arrays kasi hindi mo siya pwede ganun. You have to check each one. You have to check each value kung equal ba siya sa 3 or not. So 1, is this 3? Is this 3? Is this 3? Yes. So para maging mas efficient yung solution nito, gumamit tayo ng data structure nito para maging ON lang to. And to that, naging mas efficient yung solution natin. So I hope na-gets nyo yung part nito. So again, tapos meron ding this part of right? You have to take note nyo rin na kapag hindi siya nested, kunyari ganito siya, right? 2 for loops siya, pero hindi siya nested. That doesn't affect yung efficiency ng program. I mean, usually it doesn't affect yung efficiency ng program. So this will be the same as this one then. Parang the same lang siya. Kahit kahit 2 for loops siya. But kailangan nested, not 2 for loops. Na separate naman. So take note nyo lang yan. That's just a side note. So yeah. Ayun that's how para ganun yung para malaman nyo yung time efficiency ng program. It's usually correlated to the number of nested for loops ng program nyo. So minimize the number of nested for loops. All right. Next naman, space efficiency. In simple terms, space efficiency is how much memory does your program use if you execute it, diba? And para ma-understand nyo, diba, kung yung isang program natin sa computer natin, right, kung madami siyang memory na ginagamit, bumabagal siya. So ayun yung space efficiency. We should minimize minimizing memory na ginagamit natin to allow other programs to work then. So and basically space efficiency. And I'd like to show this problem ulit. It's called the Fibonacci sequence problem. No? And basically, kung di kayo familiar sa Fibonacci sequence, it starts with 1, 1. Tapos, actually 0, 1. Tapos, yung next value nito will be 0, yung kung add mo yung previous 2 values. So 1, so 0 plus 1, that's 1. So next value nito, ano ba yung addition? Kung in-add ko yung previous 2 values, that will be 2. Kung in-add ko yung 2 previous values, this will be 3. Kung in-add ko yung 2 previous values, this will be 5. So yun yung Fibonacci sequence. And try to think of a solution for this muna. Tapos, siguro mabilis lang, since this one's quite simple. Try to think of a solution for this. No need to code it, no need to kailangan lang output niya 5 siya. So output 5 Fibonacci numbers. Parang gano'n. Of course, not including 0. So I hope meron na kayong naisip na solution. Pero ito yung I want to demonstrate naman dito yung space efficiency. Pero here are 2 solutions, no? One solution is that you could create an array of integers, diba? And gamitin natin yun to diba kanina kasi ginawa natin 0, 1. So kinuha natin yung previous 2. Tapos nakuha natin yung 1. Kinuha natin yung previous 2. Kunyari array siya. Kinuha natin yung previous 2. You got 2. Kinuha natin yung previous 2. Kuha natin yung previous 2 ulit. So that's 3. Ganon. So we could create an array to store yung mga values nito. So and since nag-store tayo ng gumawa tayo ng array, this will allocate how many memory spots, but it will allocate n memory spots. N plus 2 actually. Kaya inefficient siya. So let's take a look at another example para ma-appreciate niyo to. dito naman, di tayo nag-declare ng array. Right? Kita nyo, nag-declare lang tayo ng 2 integers. And this will hold yung previous two, natin. Kunyari, 0, 1. So, kunyari, meron tayo AB, right? AB. So, magitong 0, 1 and C. So, yung C natin will now be 1. Tapos, mangyayari is, lalagay natin to dito. So, 1, 1 na to. A natin is 1, B natin is 1. Next, C will be 2. Move natin to dito. So 1, 2, gawin to 3. So basically we replicated yung Fibonacci sequence without using an array. And through that, mas efficient siya kasi hindi tayo nag-declare ng array. And if isipin nyo kasi kung let's say 1 million yung gusto nating 1 million yung gusto nating Fibonacci numbers. Kapag ginamit natin to, our program will allocate 1 million 1 million memory spaces then. So that will be very inefficient. Kung dito naman, kung 1 million gusto natin Fibonacci numbers, it will only take 3 memory spaces, which is a lot more efficient than 1 million, di ba? So yun yung space efficiency. It's usually the number of arrays or n-dimensional arrays na dinadeclare nyo. So the best kapag variables lang dineclare nyo, pero okay lang naman kung it's arrays, pero it's less memory efficient. So ayun yung space efficiency sa programming competitions. It's one thing that you should consider. So right, I hope na gets niyan. Medyo medyo complex topic siya, pero it's one thing that we should consider. We should definitely consider kapag nagso-solve tayo ng programming problems. Kasi may tayong memory limit, may tayong time limit sa programming problems. So yeah, those are some guides. So next naman, nasa execute part na tayo. Malapit na tayo matapos, don't worry. This part, kanina kasi this part is translating your plan into action, into actual code, di ba? Yun yung ginagawa natin dito sa execute. And like kanina diniscuss namin yung Java syntax and how to program in Java, and hopefully that gave you guys na kung paano an idea kung paano ba i-translate yung plans nyo into, or yung ideas nyo into code. And we will be focusing on this one kasi. Pero we'll give you guys a couple of tips para para maging useful sa inyo yung guide nito. So right, ano ba yung a couple of, so wait lang. Ayan, hindi next slide. So here are a couple of tips kung paano ba i-translate yung plans nyo into actual code. So first, make your plan clear, Kasi what if meron kayong hindi consider na di ba, na edge case or something like that, or hindi nyo pa alam how this particular part of your solution will work. So kung nagko-code na kayo, mahirapan kayo i-translate yung plan nyo into code, di ba? Second, keep your code clean. So maglagay kayo comments or yung mga spacing nyo, gumamit kayo ng auto-formatter, yung mga tabs and stuff like that. Make sure na malinis yung code nyo. Kasi kung mahirap siya basahin, hindi mahirap siya i-debug, di ba? Third naman, use the standard library. Don't reinvent the wheel kasi madami naman standard libraries dyan. Kunyari, meron kayong gusto nyo gumawa ng power, di ba? Meron naman tayo math.power sa Java, di ba? It's much easier to use that than to implement your own power function, which is, it'll save you a lot of time if you use the standard library. And siguro yung pinaka advice ko dito when you translate your ideas into code is to make your plan clear. Kasi kung make sure na magplan muna kayo and make sure na clear siya. Kasi kung dumiretso kayo sa problem, dumiretso kayo sa code, parang mahirapan kayo, promise. That in my experience yun yung parang problem ko. So make sure kung magko-code kayo, magplan kayo, and make sure na yung plan nyo is clear. So I hope that will help you guys sa pag-solve ng problems. Pag-translate nyo ng code into ng plan nyo into actual code. So yun, last part na to, don't really. Last part is to reflect, And after ma-solve nyo after diba nag-code na kayo, sinabit nyo na siya, the last part is to reflect, And there are only two possible outcomes kung sinabit nyo yung code. first correct solution nyo, and in that case, good job, and move na kayo sa next problem. And kung wrong solution, and kung mali yung solution nyo, you could always move to the next problem na. Or if you think the problem is too hard, or hindi nyo talaga siya masasolve, or of course, you could identify why the solution was incorrect. No, and in finding why the solution is incorrect, we have a couple of tips here. Kasi it's usually a syntax error, time limit exceeded, and failed test cases. Kung syntax error, kung i-run nyo naman yung code, makikita nyo naman yun, no, yung compiler messages. So just check that. No? Or kung may IDE kayo, like Visual Studios or IntelliJ, something like that, or NetBeans, pinapakita naman usually doon kung saan yun, no, yung mali ng syntax nyo. Tapos kung time limit exceeded, we talked about this a while ago. This is related to time efficiency, no? Dapat ilasin nyo yung loops nyo. And second, visualize nyo yung algorithm nyo para makita nyo yung bottlenecks, right? And use appropriate data structures kasi that will help you lessen yung for loop, yung loops nyo. Kung failed test cases naman, you could use your IDE's debugger, or you could and make sure to double check yung edge cases. Edge cases yun yung parang kunyari mag-for loop ako from 1 to 10 pero 1 to 9 pala yung ginawa mo, di ba? I mean, ideally 1 to 10 siya pero 1 to 9 yung ginawa mo. So yun yung mga edge cases na tinatawag. So yeah, or kunyari may inputs na hindi ko na consider. Parang inisip mo na ABC yung input pero meron pa lang D. So that's an edge case, no? So make sure to double check yung mga edge cases niya. That's one super common problem in my experience sa programming competitions. So okay, ngayon let's recap ulit before putting it all together. The steps in problem solving is the mnemonic is upper, di ba? Understand, plan, execute, and reflect. And let's take a look at kung paano yun and how parang we put all yung steps not in action. No? Let's try solving one problem and let's try to see how usually in programming competitions ginagawa siya. So I think this one's the same problem. No? So let's recap muna ulit yung steps natin in solving a problem. So understand, plan, execute, and reflect. So first, we have to understand the problem. Di ba we have to understand muna the parts of the problem. So tignan natin yung title, tignan natin yung, skim natin yung problem statement dito, check natin input formats, check natin output formats, check natin input-output. Tapos from this note, babalikan ko yung problem statement natin. Kasi medyo nagagets ko na siya, pero there's some details na hindi ko pa nagagets. No? Kasi sinasabi kasi dito sa problem statement, meron daw aliens, tapos meron daw ship sa each person. Meron daw aliens kasi impersonate as humans, tapos lahat ng humans daw may chip codes. Tapos, parang tinitry daw nila i-identify yung alien dun sa isang group. Tapos, yung aliens daw, may 0 daw siya. So, parang nagets ko siya, pero hindi ko siya super gets. So, I'll read this ulit. And I know na ito parang pinaka-problem talaga. Pero hindi ko pa siya super gets, kaya I'll take a look at the output format. So, kita ko dito that medyo similar yung input and output. Pero, meron ba kayong napapansin na sa input and output neto? Anyone sa chat? Ay, ito pala yung nag-send ng solution kanina. Sorry, I didn't see it. Pero, meron ba kayong nakikitang pattern dito sa input and output? Anyone dito? Wala. Ayun. Nausig 0 sa dulo, no? Yes, tama. Yun din napansin ko. So may 3, 7, 2, 1, 7, 4, 9. Tapos yung 0, napunta siya sa dulo. Tapos yung 6 and 7, it's still at the same place. Hindi naman siya nag-shuffle. Pero yung 0, wala siya, right? So let's take a look at another. Para mas maging confident tayo, let's take a look at another. Let's take a look at the second. Let's take a look at the second sample input. Sorry. So, pansin ko dito, may 0, 0 tayo dito. May 0, 0 tayo dito. Meron tayo dito. Tapos, mukhang na-move ito dito. Tapos, na-move ito dito. Right? So, mukhang tama yung idea natin na nausog yung zero sa dulo. Ngayon, I'll read ulit yung sample problem to make sure na tama yung solution natin. So which is revealed that all of them are aliens. You notice that the order of people here arranged is still the same, but it took only the aliens and positioned them to the end of the line. So yung aliens yung may zero pala, tapos ni-move niya na sa end of the line. So tama pala idea natin. So ngayon, confident na ako sa understanding ko of the problem. Ngayon mag-isip na ako solution. So meron ba kayo solution siguro I'll ask you guys muna. Meron ba kayo naisip na solution for this problem? Any ideas sa inyo? Baka meron kayong idea? How could we, di ba understanding natin ng problem is, i-move natin yung zero sa dulo, tapos everything will stay the same. Di ba? How do we do that? Anyone, may gusto mag-volunteer? Okay lang, you can open your mic. Wala, siguro nahihiya. Pero you could chat it naman, if you want to. Wala, okay. Siguro siguro nahihiya. Don't worry, I'll discuss yung solutions nito. Last call, wala? Okay, that's fine kung nahihiya kayo. Ito, I'll discuss naman yung solutions natin. So, I'll present two solutions, no? So let's discuss the first solution muna. Right? So one way that we could solve this is ganito, right? So, parang, di ba? Oops, masyado malaki yung Ito. Let's say meron tayo 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 0, 5, 0, 0, 0, ganyan. So one way we could solve this is, kunyari may ako nakitang 0, right? Isa-swap ko siya sa nearest non-zero value. So kung sinwap ko to, maging siyang 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kasi ni-swap na natin to, right? 0, 0, 0, 0. So in that way, na-solve na natin siya. Let's take a look at another example. No. So, eto. Let's try doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 4, 0, 4, 0. So, since meron ako 0 dito, so swap ko siya dito. So, it would be 4, 0. So, okay, alam ko na yung part nito. Yung part nito, alam ko na wala nang aliens dito. It's sure na. So, this will be 0, 4, 0. Right? So, meron ako nakita ulit na 0 dito. Ngayon, hanapin ko yung next non-zero number, which is 4 ulit. Right? So, swap ko to. So, that will be 4, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0. So, ngayon, kung kinumbine natin ito lahat, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0. Right? So, that's like one solution na pwede natin gawin. Right? And another solution, another way we could approach this problem is like this. We could abstract yung problem, no? Kasi usually yun yung hinanap sa problem. Parang you have to abstract it. You have to take out not useful information and discard it. So in this case, kailan ba do we really need to swap yung do we really need to know yung positions ng 0, 0, 0? Not really, diba? Kasi at the end sa dulo lang naman siya eh. So here's my solution. Here's what I think we should do. Yeah, 0, 4, 0, 4, 0, 0, 0, right? So gagawin ko dito, lahat ng zeros, for each number, right? Kung hindi siya 0, ikikip ko lang siya. Right? So kung 1, maging siyang 1, 2, dito pa rin siya, 3, 4, 0, skip natin. So, ano yung next ng 0? 4 ulit. 0 ulit, so skip natin yan. 4. Tapos 0, 0, 0, 0. Ngayon, kakount ko yung number of zeros sa nito. I'll count the number of zeros in this string. So, may ito. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ngayon, since alam ko na the number of zeros in this string, I'll just append yung number of zeros na. So, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Tama na 5. So, yun yung solution ko. I abstracted yung movement ng 0 nito kasi it doesn't really matter kung i-move ko siya or not, di ba? So, using this solution, mas sufficient yung solution nito sa previous solution kasi we didn't have to create a loop, ganon, or a nested for loop. And yeah, ito na yung naging solution ko. So I hope na-understand nyo ito. Kung di siya clear, just say it. No? Nagets nyo naman? Hopefully nagets yan. So, all right. So meron akong na-understand ko na yung problem. Meron na akong plan. Ngayon, it's time to code it. No? And of course, kung let's do Java. And of course, to code this, no? But I hope nakinig kayo no, kay AJ kanina. We first have to get the input, diba? Kasi yun yung, yung kailangan natin. So to do that, you have to use a scanner class. Scanner is equals to new scanner. Right? Tapos system.in. Don't forget that. Tapos, of course, meron na tayong scanner method. We could now get yung inputs natin, which is ito, right? So int line, that's called we could use a string naman since we could okay lang naman siya. Okay lang naman kahit hindi integer yung nito. Pwede siya may leading zeros eh. Pwede yung zero na sa dulo kaya mas maganda string yung gamitin. So kasi kung nasa dulo siya baka hindi siya ma-count. So string, let's use a string line kasi nasa line sila. Tapos we have to get yung line neto. So line, I guess we could do it directly here na. So scanner dot next line. Right? That's how we get an input, di ba? Tapos ngayon, I want to create a new string out of this line. So go tayo new string, new line. New line is equals to ito. Right? Tapos for each, isa-isahin ko yung neto. Isa-isahin ko yung numbers neto for and I is equals to 0. Remember for loops, I is less than line. That length. I plus plus. So that means iterate ko for each index, gagawa ko ng I for that. So ngayon, you have to get the current is equals to line dot car at I. Kung meron kayong questions, feel free to ask it. So kukunin natin yun, kunyari nandito, kukunin natin each character. Yun yung ginagawa natin dito. Tapos if yung current character is equals to 0, gagawa nila ako ng count dito. Meron ako int 0 count. Or let's say alien count is equals to 0, right? If alien siya, then alien count plus plus. Right? That means increment natin siya by 1. Else, kung di naman siya alien, new line, you have to append yung current number neto, current number to the end of the new line. Okay? Plus current. Ganyan. So, sige, I think let's try running this muna. Check natin kung nagana or not. System, print line. Print natin yung new line natin. So remember, new line ito yung new arrangement na natin. New arrangement ng aliens natin, aliens and people. So let's try running it. Oops. Sabi raw, cannot find symbol alien. May tisa alien count. Ayan. So, okay, nakalimutan pala natin yung zeros sa dulo. And naka-store yun dito sa alien count natin. So let's just append the zeros sa dulo. So to do that, for I is equals to 0 ulit, you could just copy this, para mabilis tayo. Tapos lagay natin dito alien count. So, mag-loop tayo as many as as much as there are aliens there is. Pero yeah, ayan. Tapos we have to append yung zeros dito sa end na line natin. So okay, let's take a look at the code ulit. So dito, tinake natin yung input. Tapos dito, tinake natin lahat ng non-aliens, nilagay natin siya into a new string. Tapos dito, lahat ng aliens, inappend natin siya sa dulo ng new string natin. Tapos dito, we just displayed yung output natin, right? So let's try running this. Medyo mabagal, pero yun, tama siya, right? So ayun, tapos na ako, I think confident na ako sa solution ko. I think wala naman ako edge cases na na-miss. So I'll submit it na. So tapos na ako. So kung nasubmit ko na siya, tapos na ako sa execution part. Nandito na ako sa reflection part, and it seems na check lahat. So that means, okay na ako. I could just move on to the next problem, no? And yeah, ayun yun, no? So that means, yeah, nasolve ko na yung problem and I don't have to reflect much on naman. Siguro, what I could do is, meron pa bang mas efficient na solution dito? Well, that's one thing you could ask kung na-pass nyo naman lahat ng solution nyo or stuff like that. Or you could also ask, how could I make this code cleaner? Parang ano ba, next time ano dapat gawin ko? So dito, well, I think okay naman siya. Pero kunyari magulo yung code ko dito, maybe next time, pwede ko gawin is like, I could add comments, no? I could add ways to make the code more understandable. So that's how we usually solve it. So I hope na gets you parang demonstration ko on how to put together yung upper into a programming competition contest. So usually you get it. This is how it works. So let's go back to slides natin. No. So tapos na tayo. We're done putting it all together sa upper, and now let's what should I do next? No, ngayon understand ko yung upper, alam ko na kung paano siya implement sa a programming competition context. What should I do next? No, and here are some of our recommendations. No, you can join competitions, yung CodeX. Usually CodeX kasi is a competition, pero this year workshops na kami. Merong Stack League, parang weekly or parang ongoing siya. Programming competition, Algo Olympics, yung Shopee League, yung mas nabi ko kanina, yung ICPC, yung NoyPH, and you could prepare for programming competitions, join kayo interest groups. Dito sa MCL, we have MCL ACM. If you join there, makahanap ka people that are interested in programming competitions. I think meron din naman sa school niyo, so try to find groups like that, no. Tapos form a group, of course, kung mag-join ka sa competitions, usually by group yan. So form a group, hanap ka people that are interested, tapos set training sessions. No? Kunyari, weekly or 2 times a week, parang ganun. And lastly, you could practice in these websites. No? Sa Code Forces, pwede kayo mag-practice sa HackerRank, yung platform na ginagamit natin, and you could practice sa LeetCode. I recommend kung kunyari, medyo hardcore, gusto nyo talaga hardcore problem solving talaga, try nyo Code Forces. It's a very good platform for actual, parang realistic programming competitions talaga. Meron din sila weekly, I think, weekly yata or bi-weekly programming competitions. You could also join there. Tapos sa HackerRank and LeetCode naman, these are more like, kung gusto nyo improve yung execution part nyo, di ba? Understand, plan, execute, yung execution part nyo. So try nyo try nyo HackerRank and LeetCode. Malalearn nyo rin dito like yung mga data structures, types of problems, stuff like that. So hindi nyo masyado kailangan i-understand yung problems sa HackerRank. As opposed sa Code Forces, medyo pang programming competitions talaga siya. So yeah, yun siguro yung marirecommend namin for practicing programming competitions. And of course, diba, programming since it's a skill. Of course, you have to practice it. No? We only taught dito yung parang foundations and the pillars kung paano ba mag-solve ng problems. The foundation, which is yung upper, the pillars, which is yung mga suggestions namin dito. And of course, it's up to you guys kung paano nyo i-build up the rest of the structure. And to do that, you have to learn and practice. And so yeah, I guess that ends yung parang short presentation ko about solving problems and applying problem solving in a programming competition context. And before tayo mag-proceed sa activity natin, we will have a short break, I think 20 minutes to. And pagbalik, while taking a break, you guys could ask questions kung curious kayo or whatnot. And i-chat lang namin. So you won't miss it naman kapag away kayo, kanya nagbe-break or something like that. So without further ado, let's take a short break na 20 minutes. And I'll hand it off to our technical team now. So yep, thank you guys. Ulit.
Hello guys. Hello guys. So kung may mga friends kayo na gusto mong sumali sa Hacker Rank, baka gusto pa nila sumali para di nila ma-miss out yung mga prizes natin. Hello guys. Okay, tapos na yung natin, yung break time natin, and now we will proceed with the activity. So it's time to use your learnings into practice, ika nga. So by the way, my name is Simon and I'll be explaining the mechanics for this activity. So ang gagamitin nating platform, PowerPoint po. Okay. So next slide po. Okay, next slide. So ayun, continue ka na. So ang gagamitin nating platform is yung Hacker Rank. So sana nakinig kay Kuya AJ and Kuya Job about sa kung paano gamitin yung Hacker Rank. So doon kayo magsasagot ng problem sets. So as you can see, there is a link provided in the slide. Tsaka if you look at the chat box, another link is provided so that you can copy it easily. At kung mapapansin nyo, meron din tayong QR code. So you can just scan it. So please take note of the links. Pero wag nyo muna i-access yung link kasi I will first discuss the mechanics. Later on, I will give you more time to access the link. So next slide na po. Ayun. So ito na yung mechanics. So first is each person is required to create an account using their full name. So bali, importante na gamitin yung real name nyo and not nicknames so that we can easily identify you and your solutions. Second is there will be 5 programming problems that each participant must solve. Bali, meron tayong 3 difficulty levels. So meron tayong easy, medium, and hard. So yung 5 problems na nakaset, mahati siya sa 2 easy problems, 2 medium problems, and 1 hard problem. So bali, sa third, searching the internet is highly discouraged. So please avoid na lang ito while answering the activity. So fourth, you will be given 1 hour and 30 minutes for answering all the problems. So spend your time wisely sa pagsasagot ng each problem. And fifth, the first 5 who solve the problems will be given a prize respective to their places. So kung gusto nyong manalo ng prizes, you should do your best para hindi kayo maunahan. Because as I have said, only the first 5 to solve the problems will receive prizes. So, and last is if you have questions or concerns about the problem set, just message us, the facilitators. Our name will be posted later on in the chat box so you'll know who to message when you need assistance. And please, wag kayong mahiya. Magtanong. Oh, hindi kami nakakain. And next slide, please. So by the way, this is our prices. So for the first place, 500 pesos. Second, 250 pesos. Third is 200. Fourth, 150. And for the last place is 100 pesos. And that is all for the mechanics. So guys, do you have any questions related sa activity natin? If meron, please raise your hands. Okay, so meron ba nag-raise ng hands? So wala. So I will assume na wala kayong questions about sa mechanics natin. So I will now give you 5 minutes to access the link in our hacker contest. So great job. Ano lang ulit dun sa slide na may link. So kung may mga pahabol kayong questions, na magtanong na kayo. Mas maganda magtanong ngayon about sa ano. Ayun. Sorry, nakamute pala ako. So ayun guys, i-repeat ko lang, ulitin ko lang. Correction, hindi na pala 1 hour and 30 minutes yung time para sa activity. So, bali magiging 1 hour and 20 minutes na lang. So guys, pa-raise na lang ng hands using yung emoji dito sa Zoom if na-access nyo na yung ano natin, hacker rank. Okay, wala pa nag-raise ng hands. So, bali, wala pang nakaka-access. Ayun. Si Mr. James, nakapag-access na. So, bali guys, after 1 minute na lang, mag-i-start na tayo sa activity. So, please, kindly raise your hands if ano na-access nyo na yung hacker rank natin. Ayun, may mga nag-raise na ng hands. Dalawa, si John, pati si Arvin. How about the others? So, okay guys, time's up. Tapos na yung 5 minutes. I have given you enough time para i-access yung hacker rank. So now we will start with the activity in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So again, if you have questions, just message us in the chat box. Our names will be posted in the chat box shortly. Hello guys? Narinig nyo ako? So, hi, remind lang namin na you need to solve at least one problem to get a prize, ha? Kasi if hindi kayo nag-solve ng problem, hindi kayo ma-include sa leaderboard. Okay, yun lang. Hello? Okay guys, time's up na. Hindi na pwede magsagot. So, kamusta yung yung problem set namin? Nahirapan ba kayo? Hello? Andiyan na ba kayo? Bawal na magsagot, tapos na. Hello? Okay, so to continue, sana, ayun, wala po sa condition mag-isip. Okay lang yan, so bawi lang yan next time. So, sana natapos niyo yung lahat ng problems and I hope you did your best. And most important is nag-enjoy kayo sa pagsasagot. So now, we will proceed with our program. I will now pass you to Miss Laila Diaz, our host. Miss Laila.
So, hello everyone. Earlier, we witnessed a neck-to-neck struggle amongst the participants. With pride and knowledge in mind, each participant did their best to answer the programming challenges in order to ensure that they would receive the rank that everyone desired and to enjoy today's activities. Now, may we start the awarding ceremony for CodeX 2022 Workshop Programming Challenge. I will now announce the winners of Programming Challenge. Landing in second place, let us congratulate Mr. Arvin Miguel Antonio by earning 30 points with a time of 1 hour and 56 minutes in Hacker Rank Programming Challenge. He will receive 500 pesos as his prize. Next is, for our first place Hacker Rank Programming Challenge winner, he earned a total of 30 points as well, with a time of 1 hour and 48 minutes. Let us give him a virtual round of applause. Congratulations to Mr. John Aldrin Lim. As his prize, he will receive 700 pesos. I'd like to remind the winners that in order to receive your reward, you need to message our MCL ACM Student Chapter Facebook page. Again, let's give a virtual round of applause to the event's top players and congratulations to all participants. We hope you had a pleasant time at this event and in the competition while gaining valuable screen experience. Now, let me call on Mr. James Michael Ipaz, the president of MCL ACM Student Chapter, to deliver the event's closing remarks.
Low. Can you guys hear me? So, dami nating mahaba yung preparation and mahaba yung event. Pero as long as natuto kayo, nandito kami. So, thank you to all participants who joined in today's event entitled CodeX Workshop Series 2022 Session 1. Although umunti na kayo kumpara sa unang part, pero at least thank you pa rin dahil sinuportahan nyo at patuloy pa rin kayo nanatili para sa event na to. So on behalf of MCL ACM Student Chapter, I hope that you learned a very important skill in the computing world or computing industry, which is known as problem solving. As our world evolves, we also encounter different kinds and various kinds of problems. And it is our job, or it is up to us to solve these kinds of problems as this reflects the reality, and these problems are needed to be solved in order to contribute a new vast knowledge or a way to make our world a better place. I hope this workshop that happened here will serve as a stepping stone toward your goal of becoming an IT professional and will be useful once you enter the IT industry or the computing industry. I also would like to thank our behind the scenes staff, the publication committee who made the publication materials for this event, the membership committee who made the registration form and feedback form, the research and development committee, the executive committee, the finance committee, the technical team, and our dear advisor of Malayan Colleges Laguna ACM Student Chapter and is the current Dean of the College of Computer and Information Science here in MCL, Mr. Christian G. Kikuchi. Lastly, I would like to express my gratitude towards Mr. Dennis G. Malayon and Mrs. Glenda P. Lizardo for allowing this workshop to be utilized for our dear MCL SHS students just like you. And hope that you will continue to support our organization, MCL ACM. You can follow us through our FB page and also through our Twitter and also Instagram. So to be updated for our upcoming events, be sure to hit that, be sure to follow us. Yeah, sabi ko nga. And that is all. Thank you for participating. And once again, thank you. That's all.
Okay, so everyone, I encourage you to open your cameras so we may take a group picture to officially close this afternoon's program. I'd like to call Miss Vivian Erica Hermoso, the chief of our publication committee, to take a photo. You may give us a signal.
Oh, hello. So, wait ko lang muna yung mga mag-open ng cam. Ito yung backdrop, by the way, kung wala pa iba.
Hindi mo wala rin eh. Ayan, download nyo lang. Download nyo.
Yeah.
Okay, Vivian, you
Ba?
may give.
Okay na ba? Sige. Okay na ba to? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yun lang. Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone, we've come to the end of today's workshop and thank you for taking the time to attend today's meeting. We hope you had a great day and learned a lot from our mentors. But before you leave the session, we would like to have your feedback on today's online event. The feedback form may be accessed using the provided link in the chat box. You must complete the feedback form in order to obtain a certificate of participation for this workshop, which will be delivered to your email address. Again, you must complete the feedback form in order to obtain a certificate of participation. Once again, I am Leila Arabella Diaz, and I hope you have a good day and goodbye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you guys for participating.
Guys.
So yeah, don't forget to answer the feedback form.
Yeah, para sa certificate.
Yeah.
I guess wait lang. Ano rin